I think we all know somebody in life that has been so memorable that they become almost a cartoon character in reality. And if you're an artsy type, you tend to draw inspiration on those kinds of people. And one of those people was a fella I met a long time ago when I worked in a factory. And his name was Ernie. And he was an old fella. He was near ready for retirement. And he was still into trapping. And he still tells stories about how when he was a kid, they were plowing roads with horses in the winter. It was really great. Anyway, back then, I was just beginning to learn how to make those puzzle boxes. And I would bring them in every once in a while, and I'd show the guys at lunch, and some of them would get all frustrated, and old Ernie, he'd be there laughing away, all bemused at their failure. And so one day, I guess his mean streak was focused on me, and he thought he'd give me a good showing up, and so he ripped off an old piece of barn board from his barn, and all weathered and worn, and he brought it in to me, and he says, "Here you go, smart ass. Let's see what you do with that." And so it was a couple weeks later, I brought something in, and that ended up being the first Ern Dog EDOG box. And so after the guys at lunch had explored it, and that nobody could open it, I took Ernie aside and I showed him how it worked. I showed him how it all unlocked, and he just shook his head in fascination, and he just giggled to himself. It was really funny. And I still remember telling him how that this box might be famous one day, and we're gonna name it after you, Ernie. We're gonna call it the E-Dog, right? And he just smiled and he shook my hand, and I think that day I earned that old man's respect, and that was pretty cool.